What's up, everyone? And we're back, season 4, episode 3 of the Yugioh show. We have the lovely Tatsim back with us. It's been is it a year? Was it a year or a little bit under a year?
A little bit over a year, I think.
A little bit over a year. Yes, it's been it's been interesting. Yes, so good to have you back, bro. Definitely.
Thank you for having me on. They will not let me go, chat. It's crazy.
we won't. It's funny as well because so throughout the year, last year we did a lot of episodes, and I would always be saying to Dan, as soon as we hit the next season, first person I want on the Tatsim. Okay, straight back. I'll literally say it every week. I want Tatsim back on it. I want Tatsim back on the show.
I'm still in the heart.
Yeah, it'll never leave. We've always going to have that Drytron connection, so it's never going to leave. Yeah, that's good. But one of the things that I actually really wanted to talk about, and I think it's interesting, is in the Yugioh, kind of in the Yugioh sphere, is that there seems to have been a bit of an explosion of podcasts and long-form content in the community. I don't know if it's just me that's
crazy.
Yeah, so obviously we've got Joshua Schmidt and Farfar. They've got their new Heart of the Cast starting back up. That's been a thing. MBT's podcast is starting to pop again. I don't know if Pack and Nesh are going to bring theirs back. There was at one point when theirs was it seeming like it was going quite well, and I think they both got really big. Oh, actually, to be fair, Pack did say on his stream he was focusing heavily on being a competitive player and such. But what do you think about that, guys? A lot more people coming back into long form content. And what do we think about podcasts and long form content in general in the Yu-Gi-Oh community?
Just to piggyback off the start of that, I do want to give a shout out to the Top Cut podcast. As of today, they recently announced that they've finished they've basically come to the end of their run. So they were really one of the trailblazers in the Yu-Gi-Oh podcast space. So big shout outs to them. We were literally about to. I had a message typed out reaching out for a collaboration as well, which I hope that we can still do. But
he's still making content, but he's
podcast.
So
shout
out to Sonny. He's amazing. He's such a fun guy. But understandably resigning from the scene. Yeah,
which is understandable. Yeah.
So I'm a bit out of the loop. Did he give reasons why, on what kind of
Yeah, he had a stream last night. It was really late. I don't know if you guys saw that. He basically said he just doesn't have enough time to keep up with the game, and the podcast was basically just for what he said. I don't know either, but for what he said, it's just two guys talking about stuff they don't really know that well anymore. Yeah. So at the start they went for a really informative approach, but nowadays they just kept making mistakes, and he was just like, "This isn't working. I have to go back to the roots. I have to go back to playing the game, to getting back up there." So he wants to spend more time getting back in the game and making more content about that and doing other fun stuff, rather than just sit there talk for an hour about stuff he doesn't really know about anymore.
I think that makes sense, right? From the perspective of a creator, you want to be putting out the best content that you can, and if you're not in a space where you can afford to do that, I think it's a completely respectable decision to want to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a really mature take to come to it by yourself and say that, you know what, it's not really rocking with me anymore. I'm not really on the ball anymore, and to bow out by yourself as opposed to waiting until people are saying dude, what you're talking about is trash. So, but yeah, it's actually a really, really mature take.
I think with regards to the long form content, I think it's quite interesting because to me it kind of speaks about how the player base is developing in terms of the shift in age. So whereas before you was you jump onto YouTube, you look at a deck profile or whatever, get what you need and you're gone. Whereas now I find myself anyway looking for a little bit more of a in-depth discussion, maybe thoughts around the whole meta game as to why you build your deck the way that it is. And I feel like people really kind of take to that type of content, with Joshua Schmidt being like a perfect example of that. And it's interesting to see as well. Obviously, Konami has announced Konami Chronicles, the new anime stuff, which basically pulls on the heartstrings of all those DM players who are now advancing towards their mid 25s, 30s, and I just feel like they've obviously identified a niche in a market there where they're kind of trying to tap out those specific players, which is why I think that content is being so successful at the moment.
Konami have their own one as well, right? They do it pretty like not very often, but they have. It's called like a round table, something like that. Is it?
Didn't they have like Pauli on when he was banned or something?
Yeah, that was mad.
It's good. Maybe it'll shoot me a message.
Yeah, can I be like,
if you're watching, I'm down. Sounds like fun.
yeah, they have their own. It's a little bit sporadic. To be fair, the production value of it was stellar. Like I remember when I watched it, there was an episode of him. There was an episode with
Isala, right?
Isala, that's it. Yes, I always forget his name. There was an episode with Isala as well. Like it was quite a high effort thing. But what's interesting is I remember something like 8 months ago, Solon making it might have been Solon, might have been someone else making a post saying essentially that, oh, how come people aren't really into podcasts? And then there was like this huge thread on Twitter and everyone saying how all these reasons why podcasts can never work and stuff. And it's just interesting we've come down the line and it seems like we've kind of reversed now. It's like people are suddenly like, you know what? Yeah, podcast is where it's at. Let's all start putting out our podcasts and things.
I don't want to burst your bubble.
Oh dear.
But it's not because people are into podcasts all of a sudden.
What do you think the reason is that everyone's jumped on it, back on it then?
It's a YouTube algorithm thing.
That does happen.
I'm not 100% sure, but we see this every cycle.
Yeah.
Like for the past couple of years, it was like the shorts and shorter content.
Yeah.
And they made money off that, but now I think really only the big streamers are doing it. Mm-hmm. And even if you look further than Yugioh, like Moist Critical, he's uploading like he went from like 8-minute videos to like 2.5 hour long stream things, and it could be because he's lazy or because it's really easy money. So I think YouTube never really recommended longer than 10-minute videos anymore. Mm-hmm. I think that has changed. I think they've turned that switch around, which is why I think we are all of a sudden seeing longer form content. And what better form than longer form content is there than a podcast? I think it is just that easy. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not really in that scene anymore, but I just see it everywhere. Like not even Yu-Gi-Oh, but just everywhere. So I think that the monetization of podcasts is just better. I think people are always interested in podcasts in the first place, but it just did so horrendous for views.
Which I agree. That's something that I've definitely always noticed a podcast.
I tried it a couple of times, but I just really learned quickly, and I was really advised from like people higher up in the scene.
Yeah.
Like, just don't. It's not worth it. It's gonna get like not even a quarter of your views.
Yeah.
And that platform has changed. So the only reason I can think is, of course, there are people that like a pack, like a Joshua Schmidt, people want to listen to them. But it is mostly just the fact that it is finally able to produce money on YouTube. I think that's the main reason.
Which is really interesting, though, that the algorithm, even the fact that YouTube would go towards that more in the algorithm, because it seemed like for the last, I don't know, 5 or so years, that YouTube's been trying to steal all the people from TikTok, and that's really been where their head's at. And they've been really pushing shorts to the extent where it's like shorts don't even make their money, but they'll even like pay you to make shorts. That's how much they're onto it. So it's really surprising that things are changing around. I'm wondering if this is, when you say it's a cycle, are you saying then you think it's going to be like a temporary thing? And then I appreciate this is all speculation, but do you think it's like a temporary thing and move on? Do you think this is like
just a masterful update? I think basically it makes the most sense. Like, there must be a reason. Maybe like the costs of a podcast on YouTube, like their hosting is the same as like 20 short videos, and I think maybe they just want to push creators more to the longer version, and maybe just want to be like, oh, we're not able to compete with TikTok. Maybe they lost the battle, or maybe they're just doing something else, trying to see what works. Or a long video has space for like 20 ads, so that is also a thing, and you cannot use ad blocker anymore on YouTube. So
that's a real. To be fair, I don't know how people use YouTube before, because I've had YouTube Premium since
me too.
For a long time. But so my wife and my mum, they both don't have ad blocker. So I was at home I was in my family's house like last weekend. I was using my mum's tablet, and I was like, I don't know how you use YouTube without ad blocks. It was ridiculous.
It's unwatchable.
Yeah, like every minute there'll be like, it's so deep because you'll have like a 5-minute ad at the beginning of the video, then like in the middle of the video there'll be an ad. and then later on there'll be an. It's like, what is this? Like, it's worse than TV. Like,
if you're watching a Tatsim deck profile, you get like 5 ads. What's sick, dude. I learned that you can just place the manually. I was like, oh fuck. But this video is rough. I'll never need it. There you go, 6 ads. The best.
Yeah, this is. Oh, sorry, Dad, you're about to say something.
I was just about to say, I do think it's interesting that you draw on the YouTube TikTok comparison, because I think when it comes to long form content, that is something that YouTube will generally have the monopoly over on TikTok when it comes to that. So I do think there is probably them just saying, you know what, we might be losing the short battle, but we've got you here, and we can make a load of money from the ads, like you just said. I do think the algorithm's definitely play into it, because while it's not necessarily podcasts, I've definitely noticed a lot more in my algorithm of like video essays and just long form content in general. So it's like you say, I think it might just be a the taste of the flavor of the month sort of thing. But
so I just wanted to check for myself.
Go on.
So Farfas content over the past like couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So his shortest video is his last one, which is, oh no, there's like another one. There's like one of 8 minutes and one of 4 minutes. We have 33, 28, 21, 42. And if you scroll down, it's I think it averages out way longer.
8 minutes is a cutoff point for ads, right? That's like you have to be 8 minutes minimum.
8 minutes is for ad, but I think that the average time of his videos now, even with the short ones, is like 22, which is really long for a YouTube video.
Yeah.
From when I was doing it, at least. So it must have changed.
There was a point when like 10 was like the sweet spot, where it was like you wouldn't really see videos longer than 10 minutes. So
this is a little bit of a throwback, but does anyone remember, like this is me maybe showing my head a little bit here, does anyone remember when YouTube didn't allow videos over 10 minutes? And they had to be like in parts, like it was like 9:59 and then it'd be like part 2 of whatever. Like, mad to see how far we've come.
Yeah. And I just looked at Pack's channel, because you know what, you made a really good point at Sam, and I realized that because I've been watching a lot of Pack's videos, and it's the same thing. Like, he's got a 9-minute video, then he's got a 2-hour video, then he's got a 15-minute video, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 2 hours, 2 hours. Like, yeah, just long videos. And they're not podcasts, they're just long videos of like different things.
Yeah. I noticed this with Team Sam as well. That's another big one. Obviously, I believe he's the biggest creator in the Yu-Gi-Oh space on YouTube. His profiles, like, I know that he does a lot of mass content now, but they're like double the length now, because he's spending one half of the video doing the profile and another half doing test hands, which is completely fine, like not a problem with that at all. But it goes to show that it's pushing the algorithm. Well, the algorithm is pushing longer form content, because I've definitely noticed a lot more of his videos being in my algorithm recently. So there's definitely proof to it.
There you go.
Yeah. But what do you think? Oh, sorry, carry on.
That's all.
Let me hear it. But what, do we think this is better or worse on the community? Like, I would say, for me personally, I would almost say it's better. I'm a huge fan of video essays. I'm a huge fan of long form content personally. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's better. You can just with the longer form videos, you can just hit the pause button. Like, you can watch 15 minutes and then you know what I mean? You could go and have a drink, have a coffee or something, and come back and watch the rest. Whereas, like, with the short form videos, it's like an info dump and you're off kind of thing. So I don't know. I like the longer form videos personally.
Yeah, definitely.
There's plus sides to both, right?
Yeah.
I'm always going to be a fan of longer form content because it's just what I like in it. But I also have the attention span of a 2-year-old, so sometimes I enjoy, little flick through the old shorts bit. But yeah, I'm a big fan of long form content, and if it's good long form content and it pulls you in, it's just great. You just want more all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Where are you, Tatsin? Where are you landing on this?
I am not watching that much YouTube anymore, honestly. Like, I think that for content creation, for like TCG spaces, both can work. I would not watch like a 40 minutes breakdown of a deck. But that's just me, but it could be really helpful for new players. So I think it's just, what would you cater to more, and like what kind of niche are you doing? Like, are you fast? Like, if you're mid format, you're not going to do like a 40-minute deck profile with combo kit, right? But at the start, it could be very beneficial. Like, I would love to see Lithium break down like the deck that's coming out in his vision, because he's really creative with his friends as well. Like I would love to see like what are you like actually thinking? What were you thinking about? What was the process of making this list? And that would be really interesting. But yeah, if I just want to see a deck profile, I just give me the deck. Like especially for Pokemon, you don't have combos. Like there's like 3 cards that I want to know why you're playing it, and after that I'm done with the video. Like that's basically it. So
yeah.
This does lead me on to a question actually, Tatsim, that I did have for you. So for those of you who may not know, Tatsim is now big into playing Pokemon, right? And a little bit of Lorcana as well.
I'm the best.
Yeah, so in terms of obviously yourself being a big name in the Yu-Gi-Oh content creation space, what differences are you noticing in the Pokemon space? Like as like someone who's consuming that like media, is it better or worse? Any differences? Any similarities? Just talk to us a little bit about it.
There's like 3 competitive Pokemon channels. That's it.
No,
Wow.
So, yeah, and they are really good. They are all like top players, and for the rest, it's all just casual content. So we have a website called Limitless. If you ever heard of that, so it also applies to One Piece. It's a website where after a tournament has concluded, the deck lists are like almost uploaded automatically, like a couple of minutes later. So that completely destroys the need for a deck profile. It's interesting. I kind of miss deck profiles. I would like it more, like, because sometimes people just play like whack ass shit and they top, and I'm like, why the fuck are you playing that? I don't know if I can swear, by the way. Why are you... Sick, I can. Let's go. Like, why are you playing this card? Why? And then it's okay. You only have this online deck list. Have fun, and you just have to figure it out yourself. That is really annoying, especially since I don't know every interaction yet. So I do miss more content. But on the other side, like, it's also a lot of fun to just figure out the format on your own. And I kind of miss that. It is so easy to just click on the deck list and copy it and then start playing it. And especially for like the upcoming tournaments, like what I've done now basically is just research the deck lists, not just copy and paste, but just look at everything and just look at the cards and look at what they're playing in the direction. And just none of the deck lists that I've made like match anyone else's, because we all have like different opinions. You have a lot of like choices that you like personally. Don't know how to say that. Like random ass cards that you just like more than other people, and you start playing it and you can be successful with that. And I do really appreciate that about the game, but I do miss more in-depth, because definitely starting up in a TCG without people telling you exactly what to do has been a little bit annoying at the start. I was playing some stuff really bad until I finally found the people that were making the good content. And that helped out a lot. So a little bit of a 50-50. I do like it, but I do also like just doing your own thing and learning from that. And yeah, you can definitely just get very far from that.
When you say when you say there's like competitive and then the rest is casual content, you know how like in Yu-Gi-Oh there's a bit of a breadth. So for example, there's like some video essay content, there's like meme content like Yatta and stuff like that. In the Pokemon community, is there stuff like that specific to the TCG, or is that not really a thing?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch any casual content.
Yeah.
I look at like a channel, I look at like a video, and if it's like a good video that I can learn from, and then I click it on, and it's really easy to know like, oh, this is unplayable, or this is just not good, or then I'm just immediately out. And that is fairly obvious. Like a lot of the decks are viable in Pokemon, but definitely not everything. And it's definitely the style of the channel. But Pokemon is so broad. You have like the hyper competitive players on the left, and then you have like super casual players on the right, but they do attend tournaments still. So yeah, you have like pack opening channels, and you have like, I'm gonna play this random deck from this random set, and it's gonna be fun. And then they show some replays winning, and it's like, okay, yeah, but if you play against like Lost Box once, you insta lose. But nice, yeah. So I haven't really found like the discussions, etc. But I'm also not looking for it, so it will probably be out there. But for now, it's mainly just like Azul live streaming on Twitch, watching replays or giving his commentary and like giving his insight from like a top tier player. Like imagine Pac like streaming an entire YCS and going like with a 100% correct mindset after every choice that they're making. Like that is really interesting to me. But yeah, like I'm gonna open up a box or I'm gonna play this random deck. Like I'm not really into that stuff anymore.
Yeah, fair, makes sense. It's interesting just because I guess as a perspective, for example, would you say, as you say, you're not really into that stuff? So I assume you have a circle of people you play Pokemon with.
Yep.
Would you say like they're into that stuff? Does it seem like, do you know if any of them are into that kind of stuff? Like what I'm trying to understand is like, is there a demand for that kind of stuff? Or is it just a thing where maybe even the way Pokemon TCG players are different to how Yu-Gi-Oh TCG players are?
I think that like the pro players have just grown very familiar with not being able to have that content. So they just do it on their own. You see the same people topping everywhere as well, and they always just say the same thing: just play more, just get better. They don't really need content. They don't really want content. They've been so long in this game that they understand all the cards. And that's a little factor that I'm missing. But yeah, from the competitive scene, I think that they are quite happy with just Azul existing and some other content creators that make content around like competitive stuff. And for my local scene, we have a couple of people like me and like my travel crew. We take the game seriously, but we're 3 guys, and the 3rd guy doesn't even take it that seriously. Like everyone else at locals is just playing random S decks, and they do go to like big tournaments, and then they like focus up for a little bit. But most of the time, it's just random Guldengo deck that would never do well at a tournament, but it's just nice to play the game. So we're having fun, but I'm not really hyper competitive testing with anyone right now.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, what's the scene like now? Because I know that in one of your previous videos you said that the scene was it was difficult in a sense that there wasn't a lot of local tournaments where people were like competitive. Is it still the same now, or
still
has
the
it
same?
expanded? Oh, still the same.
We have a local now on Wednesday evenings, which is 8 guys, and we're just having fun. It's not serious, but I've evolved above like needing them. Like when I was starting out the game, I just needed to play more, and now I've done the round, so I'm a little bit more familiar with it. So I don't really necessarily have to go to locals every week anymore. But we do just play a lot of decks, and we do talk about it a lot, and we have friends that are really competitive, but they also just don't go to any local scenes. It's just kind of weird in the Netherlands or something. They just don't play local Pokemon here.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
That's present. So that kind of brings me on to another topic which I want to talk about, which you guys had started off already, which is Lorcana. It seems like Lorcana has fallen a little bit off a cliff in the last so we go to I go to multiple locals a week, but the locals we go to on Wednesday, I remember when Lorcana first came out, it was nuts, like
30-man events, right?
Like rammed, and this look, this sounds so weird to say, but there were girls there, which is weird. Like if you go to a Yu-Gi-Oh event, you're gonna see the same people, it's all dudes. But it's like at the Lorcana event, it was very multi-gendered. It was people who you wouldn't normally expect to even be into this kind of thing. The age range was big, and people were on the game. Like it was really popping. And I think this lasted for like quite a while.
Yeah, I remember because the locals that I used to go to had the Lorcana on the same night, and it was a very similar kind of thing to what you were saying. Like very wide range of people. They were committed to the game as well. They weren't just there to like see what it was about. But
now now it's not like that. Like last week, for example, I don't know how many were there. Was there like 4 people playing Lorcana? Like I don't think I've seen more than 10 in the last like 2 months.
Yeah, and before we started recording, Tatsim, you were telling us a little bit about how it's a similar sort of thing with you in Lorcana, right?
Yeah, it was a perfect world, and then it was all destroyed. It was like
a whole new world, you might say.
Set 1 reminded me of like traditional Hearthstone. It was just all control. It was just the best. It was so much fun. I was like genuinely down to just sell all the other card games I was like trying to play and just play Lorcana fully. And then set 2 came around, and everything was fucked. Power creeped. 90% of your deck is now set 2. Like we only play like maybe 10 cards from set 1 still. And set 3 is coming around soon, and that is also gonna power creep and gonna bring more mechanics that you have to play. So yeah, the game is just dropping down, and Yeah, it was fun to see so many people playing their first card game. Lorcana was like the first card game for so many people, and we had the same. People were bringing their girlfriends. They wanted to play the game, and we were having like 30 to 40 local for like this new TCG with people that have never played before. But I think that's also kind of why it died, because they just realized it wasn't for them, especially when sitting across someone that knows what to do, because you're basically playing control mirrors, and the best player wins the control mirror. So if you play against like anyone that knows what you're doing, you're fucked. It is just that easy. And that was a big part of like set one. It was super difficult to get the cards and to buy the cards. So that was also kind of a thing that people didn't really like. But yeah, now everything has been reprinted, so the entire value of the game is like down the drain. So I think these people just left. They just don't like it anymore. They don't want to play, or they're just waiting for competitive, because that's gonna start in like March.
Oh, it still hasn't started.
No, it hasn't started. Yeah.
Wow.
So in March they're gonna announce what competitive is gonna be like, and it's gonna start in May. So we have set 3 releasing in like 2 weeks, and set 4 is gonna be releasing at the start of competitive. So then we are already 4 sets in the game, and we haven't had a tournament yet. So
wow.
Yeah, and set 1 is already power creeped. Why would I buy any cards? Why would I buy any product now? It doesn't make sense. So I think that's why a lot of people are just sitting with the stuff at home. They have their binders. They're ready to start playing. I think that there's going to be a resurgence. Don't think it's going to last long due to the power creep. It's a shame. It was such a fun game, but it's not unplayable. But it's just you have to buy like all the new cards, and then you're stuck in like a format, and it doesn't really change that much because there's not enough cards to have like a cycle, like, oh, people are playing Nips, we're going to play decks that are going to play around Nip, and then nobody plays Nip, so we're going to play combo again, and then everyone's playing combo. You don't have that because there's just not enough cards. It's just this deck and this deck and this deck, and then those are the best decks, and everything else just kind of dies to them. So
the way that you're talking about power creep in the game with 4 sets, and if the power creep is that nuts, it seems wild. Like, as like a very basic Yu-Gi-Oh comparison, it sounds like you're talking they've gone to like almost like a Duelist Alliance style power creep, but this is just every set.
No, it is just Duelist Alliance. Every set is Duelist Alliance again, for what I've noticed. So
that's a lot, man.
Balancing card games is super difficult. Like, if you look at like all the modern card games, I'm gonna be completely biased here. Pokemon is just the most balanced. There is no ban list. There is no need for a ban list. And
set rotation does it all right.
Set rotation helps, but also the design team is doing a phenomenal job not making anything absurdly broken. So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is like, I'm not gonna go into that right now. I'm not gonna. But there's a reason it's so difficult, right? And Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic, they get to live and like because they have just big communities. But now also in One Piece, you see that there is a lot of power creep. There's like basically one best deck. And next set it's going to be replaced by a different best deck, and you can already hear a lot of players a little bit complaining about that left and right, but you kind of hope when a new set arrives that like 50% of your decks gets faded out. Like, of course there's going to be better cards, we're going to be playing better cards, our strategy is going to be more refined, but you hope it's going to be like 50-50 or maybe 40-60, like 40% set 1, 60% set 2, and Lorcana now is just like 90% set 2, 10% set 1. Wow. And next set it's going to be even less. Like, we were playing like 4 offs of the staples of set 1, and at the end when I was still playing we were already cutting them down to like 3 or maybe even 2 sometimes. I was like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna not play set 1, I guess. It's not almost not necessary. Bar for 15 cards out of the 200 maybe. It's just kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, and then it's like, again, it's so interesting because I parallel the way you're describing Lorcana to One Piece, and it feels like completely different philosophies on how to handle a card game. One Piece, on the other hand, they seem very, very. Firstly, they're very, very determined for products for a level of scarcity to be in the game, essentially. Where it's like everything in One Piece is so expensive because it's like you can't even access like OPO1 and all of that because it's just like, where are you going to get those? Even though people think some of those are reprint. Yeah, so yeah, those are getting reprinted. But then it's like also on top of that, even though One Piece has had power creep, I would say that I wouldn't say it's so much. It doesn't seem as problematic as the way you're describing Orkana, for example. It doesn't seem like, oh, just because the new OP set come out, it's like you can't touch anything from the old set. So it's really interesting that Disney has gone towards that route for Orkana. The way you look at it is maybe that you think that it's not necessarily like that, but it doesn't seem as bad.
One Piece just has different problems. I mean, there's right now 3 playable decks out of like, I don't know exactly how many leaders there are in the game. It's more than 50, that's for sure. Yeah. There's 3 playable. Make of that what you will.
I'll be honest, I'm biased because I like black decks, so Sakazuki,
I'll do that. I like that.
Yeah, I'm very biased, but it's
cool. What decks are in the top 4? Sakazuki, that's it. Nice. A healthy card game, so much fun.
Yeah, do you know what? When I first started playing, so when I wanted to first get into One Piece, this is like really like I don't remember what set I even got in because I didn't really know what the sets were at that point. But I was like, I just want the simplest deck to play possible, and he was like, just play the black deck because it's just you hit stuff. That's it. And then it just kind of progressively got more and more OP as more sets came, and I was like, oh sure, I'll just stay with this. And so I don't have any actual One Piece cards, by the way. I borrow my mate's deck or I play on the online simulator.
Same.
But
0 One Piece cards. Let's keep it that way.
I'm not investing in any One Piece cards.
Before anyone comes after us, the game is hella fun. It's a really good game. It's just not for me, which is why I'm not playing it, but the game is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but it is so easy to dunk on, and you think that's like a top 4 from one deck. It's too easy to not joke around that.
Yeah, and it's similar again to the. I think I can't remember if you mentioned this on the show before the show, but it was a similar thing again. That one of my mates was just like, you know what, come to an event, I'll pay for your entry. You give me your entry cards, and I'll also give you a bit of cash.
He's rich. He's a millionaire now.
And I was like, this is
dude, you got screwed, dude.
Yeah, I mean. To be fair, yeah, he probably. I mean, that's why he even said it. He's going to sell the cards to make money. But to me, it was like, yeah, I get a free like 50 quid. I get to go to an event, play some One Piece. Yeah,
I think it's like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I couldn't see it again, but it was a good event. I had a good time. Like the guy I played against, it was clear I had no idea what I was doing at all. He rattled me so hard. We played 2 games. No, we played a game. He beat me. Then we played 2 games after that, and he was just showing me like what to do and stuff, which was fun. But yeah, I'm a big fan of One Piece. I'm also excited for the new Dragon Ball Super TCG coming out because apparently,
Do you guys know like your Yu-Gi-Oh pros? Do you know Adrian Durson? Does that name say anything?
I know the name. I'm not sure why I know the name
though. He's an ex-Yu-Gi-Oh player. He was like a pro, and I had to play against him in the last round of the One Piece regional. I walked to my table and I looked at him. I looked at the name on my phone and I looked at him and I'm like, what are you doing? He killed me in like 1 minute, I think. It was hella good. It was so much fun. So many ex-Yu-Gi-Oh players play One Piece. It was crazy.
Yeah. See, and it makes sense. We've all heard that they seem to be making a lot more money than top tier Yu-Gi-Oh players. There just seems to be a lot of money in events and such.
You can work like at a bar for like 10 euros like per hour, and you make more money than the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player.
It's not mince words. But there was something. This is a little bit more off topic, but it does kind of tie in. I had a bit of an interaction today. It is Yu-Gi-Oh based, but it pertains to any card game. I just thought it was a little bit wholesome, so I'd like to talk about it, and I'd like to see if you guys have had anything similar. So, as we all know, Phantom Nightmare's come out, the Yugioh set, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to get all the stuff from the sneak peek because I'm a fucking simp, right? So I'm talking to this guy. I'm buying something from him. We get to chatting. He's a really nice guy. Turns out he's really good friends with a close friend of mine. You know, Tom, who does the podcast with us sometimes. Tats, I believe you met him as well. And now, like, he's in our testing circle. Like this random guy who I spoke to on a trade group is someone who, you know, managed to form a relationship out of that, like out of nowhere. And I just thought, damn, like, it's kind of cool that like hobbies can just connect people in that way. So I just wanted to ask you guys if you guys have had any like similar sort of moments where you've just been like, yeah, man, like these hobbies are kind of cool. Like it's nice, like connecting with people and stuff.
My story's long, so I'm going to let you guys go first because my story's really long.
Mine is pretty quick, to be fair. I've got one guy that I test with infrequently, and he's actually from America. And I think my channel was like, well, my channel ain't that big at the moment anyway, but I think I had like 40 subscribers or something like that, and he was like one of
You're like on the come up.
Yeah. And then he DM'd me or something like that, and we just got to chatting. Like we just like message each other on Facebook, whatnot, and every now and again we'll just test. Like he's playing Cash Tira Scareclaw at the moment. And I remember one time he was trying to get a deck core together for Virtual World, and I sent him some cards. And he got there within a couple of weeks, and like just kept sending me tear emoji faces, just because obviously he had Europrint, he's in America, and everyone's like gushing over his cards and that.
Yeah, they all love it over there.
Yeah. They love the darker print and that. But like we've just, even to this day, I messaged him this morning, and we just talk every now and again. So like I think that's a really good thing. Like I've never seen the guy physically, but we've like FaceTimed a couple of times, and we'll jump on like Dueling Book or EDO Pro. So I think that's really cool, and yeah, it's manifested.
That's mad. That's so awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice. What about you, Tatsum?
Where to start, dude? I've met so many people, so many wonderful, lovely people that I've been in touch to, and they've done so much for me personally, and I tried to do as much as I could in return. Like when I was banned, I was doing like this giveaway of random cards, and I was still having that I didn't want to sell. They were all like foreign cards, and like someone said, dude, I always wanted to have a Draco sack, and he just kept messaging me that he was so thankful for getting it after I sent him like this cool Portuguese Draco sack. And I mean, it's just being able to like provide for people. It's just always fun, like whether it's content or whether it's just like physical cards. You make so many friends, and seeing them in your chat or on your Twitter and seeing them like thrive or play, or it's just so much fun to keep in touch with people. I'm always looking at Twitter, and I still look at a lot of content creators. Like I hope they're all doing well, and I like to leave comments and likes on the video, and I click on the video, watch it. I'm like, I don't understand any of it, click off, but I still leave the like, and I think that's just the best. And even after all these, like after 1.5 years, I think it's been now, like just being in a stream chat and being recognized, and just people being like, hey dude, I hope you come back soon. I'm like, yeah dude, no, but thank you, I appreciate it. that just warms my heart every time.
Yeah. It's definitely lovely, and I think it is also nice to hear that you're able to have those kind of experiences with people that you don't know. Like, yeah, it's weird when you think about it. This is someone who's over the internet that you probably would never meet otherwise, and you can still have that kind of experience. It's really cool to hear.
I mean, look at this right now. Like...
Yeah, yeah, very very good point. All right, this is a long ass story. So
perhaps go on. Story time.
I'm going to give a bit of context because I think the context is relevant to the story before we get to the story. But so the year of COVID, it was a really really bad year for me. So beginning of the year, I lost my job. And then I lost my job in January, and like the way I lost my job was so annoying as well. Like I had this really evil manager who basically got me fired. He got fired, and his last act before he got fired was to get me fired. And then like 2 months later, I got a job, but then COVID started, so I ended up getting made redundant from that job because like the company was going into insolvency. I was meant to be getting married that year, but then because of COVID, we had to postpone our wedding like 6 months. Just a whole host. And then so in around January as well, my car got broken into several times, and I didn't realize what was happening. So the first time my Switch got stolen, and then I might have told this part of the story before. The next time I had my PS4, my work laptop, my personal gaming laptop, and my Yu-Gi-Oh binders full of probably about £500 to £600 worth of cards, all stolen. Outside
you've never mentioned that to me.
Yeah, it was mad, and I remember when it even happened. Like, I remember I was just in my flat and I was just sitting down. I was like, this is mad. So
that's
the year
that's so rough.
Yeah, like the year was going bad. Went from like financial issues, all of that for the whole year. I was going bad. So by the end of that year, it was like this has been like a really crappy year. But I was like quite depressed for most of it, understandably. But I was like, okay, let me turn that around. And I just tried to be really positive. And I got in a better place mentally. And so the beginning of the next year, so during COVID times, obviously, there wasn't locals, but we would go to this cafe sometimes and just do random locals ourselves there, even though there wasn't official ones. And I remember going there and I remember talking to this guy. And it's funny because the way I met this guy, even that is a story in itself, but it wasn't a positive way I met this guy. But I remember he was having a chat to me and I was just telling him how, oh yeah, you just got to always be positive, bro. Like, only way is up. I was like, you just have to look at that. And he was like, oh, where did you get that from? And I was like, oh, then I just told him the story. I told him the story about like what had happened to me the year before and all the things I'd went through. And I remember as I was telling him the story, he was just looking at me like, that's crazy. Because I hadn't really told anyone in the group either. Like no one in the Yu-Gi-Oh circle knew. And I remember telling him, and he was like, that's mad. And then like I remember we had been talking and it was like just me and him. And then he just got up and left at one point and I was thinking, oh, okay, guess I was bored. And he just like left and he didn't come back for like an hour. But then and then later on, so the locals had started. I'm just playing, and then he walks inside. He walks inside the cafe, walks over to me, and just hands me a brand new Switch. And he's like, "Bro, the only way is up." And then he just gives me the Switch, and he's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to get you a Switch." And I was so rattled, like I was genuinely like, "What?" Like, and at the time I was like, "Nah, it's a good joke. You buying it for your like little brother." So he's like, "No, genuinely, this for you." I was like, "Bro, this is mad," and it was just really, really sweet because I remember at the time really feeling like, and so like, it sounds silly, but when I lost my gaming laptop and all of that stuff, like games, I really like playing games. And when you don't have a lot of games and stuff to play, I remember at the time it was like, okay, it's like, what do I do? I haven't got anything to do. Okay, I'm just going to try and play games on my phone. I'm just going to try and play my old PSP. And so it was like, it really meant a lot because even like him giving me that was like this like beacon in the tunnel where it was like, oh, like I have something new I can do and just spend my time on. And it was also just like, I really wasn't expecting it from the guy. And yeah, that's kind of like the end of the story. But I was just really, really shocked by the level of kindness that guy showed to me. Even now, I still think of it all the time. This is now 3 years or so ahead
that's
by
crazy.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, after this, I'll tell you guys the name because I'm sure you guys remember the name of the guy. Or no, you'll know who it is. If I told you who it was.
Are they no longer like about in our?
They don't play. Yeah, they don't play with us anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a shame. That's nuts, though. I think it's because as you were telling the story, I thought like, so obviously you've mentioned you're big on games before, and it's like, oh, especially during COVID times as well, when there's so little to do, and you said you just lost your job, like.
Yeah,
that distraction is going to be like such a big thing for you, and to have that type, that's
it was very, very nice.
Big up, my man.
Big up. He's a cool guy. Yeah, every time I see him, I'm always giving him a bit of a shout out because he's a cool guy. But yeah,
that's a good story.
Thank you.
Hello to the guy that we don't know.
yeah. I'll do a bit of a name drop later. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you never know. Maybe one day I'll bring him on the show. But I don't think he'd want to come on if he's like.
Why did you leave your Switch and your PS4 in your car?
So that's
That's like run back.
Like I left my Switch in the car. Yeah, sure. I left my binders in the car. Yeah, sure. I left my PS4 in the car. Why is your PS4 in the car?
So do you know what happened? First, I left my Switch in the car. I don't know. I think I was going. So I would sometimes drive into the office, and my Switch, I would play. This is such a bad. Okay, sometimes I'd play the Switch in my car in traffic but no. Here, hold on.
Hello, cops.
What you have to understand is there's this road in Birmingham called Hagley Road, and they've changed the way the road works.
It's gridlocking it.
Yeah, and I would have to be in the and this is part of my manager being a dick. I had to be in the office for 9:30. Oh, actually, I had to be in for 9. And driving at that time is so inconvenient. And so you can if you have to leave your house at like, I have to leave it's like a 40-minute drive, but I have to leave my house at like 7:30. And I'll literally be on Hagley Road for like an hour. And so there's times where I'm genuinely there for like 20. So it sounds bad, but like, I
used to have to travel down that road for work as well from a different direction. Like, not that I'm condoning this, but I can understand you would be in gridlock for maybe like 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah, so like, and then also
got stolen, and your first reaction was, "Dude, let me bring my PS4."
So, do you know why? It was because like I left it in the glove compartment. I would put it in the glove compartment.
PS4.
Sometimes.
How big's your glove compartment?
Oh no, not PS4. No, the Switch. I'd leave the Switch in the glove compartment, and it just disappeared from there one day, and I just assumed, oh, maybe I left it at work. Then another day, I was driving up from London, and my bag had my PS4, my work laptop, my blah 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 in it. Then what had happened is I didn't realize I left that backpack in the car. I'd quickly gone to locals, came back, it was gone, and that's when I knew someone's broken into my car. It wasn't my finest style. I don't even leave anything in my car. I'm paranoid. I don't even like a pound coin in my car because that road the amount of time
I have this weird story where I was in like England and I saw like this car and it was open, it had a Switch, and then the next day I went back and it had like a PS4 and a Xbox. That was crazy, dude. It's so nice.
Yeah, like if you were living around me at that time, I mean, I was a very good source of income for you. Like, I really could have hooked you up. Yeah,
you got your money's worth.
A good life lesson, right?
certainly a lesson. I don't know what.
Yeah.
There is a moral there, but for the life of me, I can't find it.
Get a friend that buys you a Switch if yours is stolen.
Yeah. Get yourself a friend like that.
So, okay, so what I wanted to bring back, which we haven't done in a while, because this is probably won't be the last topic. It might be, it might not. We'll see. We're like 15 minutes in, but this is to be. Oh, we're at 45 minutes. Yeah,
more ads.
Oh well, yeah, check some ads.
More time, dude. More time, more ads.
But speaking of ads, but you guys don't know, I'm like 150 away from hitting that monetization point, and you guys don't know yet. But if there are ads on the video, because I've had 2 or 3 PMs about this, it's not me. I'm not involved. Like, YouTube does it themselves. I don't see any of the money. Like, it's not me. I had someone PM me last night at like 2 a.m. He was like, maybe you could put a bit less ads. I'm sure it's not making you that much money anyway. I was just thinking like,
that's the wrong mindset. More ads. More ads. Doesn't matter how big your channel is. More ads. Doesn't matter.
I admire the gall, the chutzpah of that message. Like.
Yeah, I might be slightly doxing myself here, but I've made the silly mistake of my Facebook. I use my Facebook for my YouTube, and like it's just my name, and it's my personal Facebook. And so if you're on my YouTube and you're subscribed, it's good. Only like not too many people watch podcasts, and I trust most of the. I'm saying a lot anyway. Most of the if you have access to my YouTube, you have access to my Facebook, which means quite often people will comment on my channel and message me on my Facebook, which is a bit. Here's what it is. I accept it. At some point, I'll do the smart thing like private and make it friends only, but.
Bro, this is the first lesson I told you.
Yeah, look, I'm not good at social media.
Anyway,
I'm actually like an old man. We've moved back. Yeah, so we are going to be reading Am I the Arsehole, which we have not done in a while.
Go. It's been a while.
Yeah, I thought it would just be it'd be cool to bring it back in and read one. And this one I thought was really, really interesting. So, am I the arsehole for not telling my boyfriend I won money 15 years ago? So my boyfriend, and she's now 35, her and her boyfriend now are 35. So my boyfriend moved in unexpectedly with me 3 months ago as his landlord decided to move into the property with his family. We were discussing finances, and on the topic of how I own my own place came up. I explained I want some money. She's saying it's not a lot, but it's supposedly enough to put herself through nursing school, buy a house, and have some savings. So from my perspective, that sounds like a lot. Yeah, she's like, not a lot, but okay, cool.
10 million.
Yeah,
not a lot.
Yeah. So she told her boyfriend that she won some money and that's how she bought all of these things. And her boyfriend says that she deceived him by giving the impression she was more financially savvy than she actually was. He says he can't trust me anymore and that he was stupid to have listened to my financial advice. Except that she says that she didn't really give him that much financial advice. And so it's, am I the arsehole? Did I deceive my boyfriend by not telling him how I got financially stable? I feel like I tried to, this is a really long am I the arsehole, so I tried to just shorten as much as I can. But yeah. So what do you think?
How long have they been together?
At least 4 years. Because they were talking about this, in fact, 2018, so it's more than 4 years, at least 6 years.
This has never come up.
So essentially, according to her, how she had her own house and all this has come up, but she's never brought up that it's because she won money.
Do they talk to each other? I don't think she's an asshole, but I don't think he's an asshole either. I think they're both just like, what the fuck?
Something's not right here, isn't it?
Yeah, something's off.
Yeah,
I would be mad after 6 years. I found out, everything here was free. Like, I would not. It's just like, not that I'm mad that it's free or that I didn't get anything. I would just be mad that I didn't know.
Yeah,
But then again, he didn't ask. So I'm just like,
isn't it?
I don't know, dude. This is a really fucked up situation.
This is interesting. It's interesting. I'm not sure where I land on this because my initial thoughts were like, oh, it's her financial situation. She, didn't have to tell you anything. You're not married or whatever. But also, like, yeah, like you own your own house. Surely that would have come up, right? Like, and I suppose you could have been like, if someone just says, "Oh, they came into money," you don't generally like to ask, right? Because it could be inheritance, could be X, Y, Z. But surely you know this, right? And he's like moaning about her saying, "Oh, you've been giving me financial advice." It doesn't seem like she has. Just
do you know what?
I don't know. Are you guys in like a relationship right now?
We're all married actually, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like Andre is married.
Yeah, all married.
I'm not married. I've been together for like 3 years now, but we talk about our financial situation all the time.
Yeah. As you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like the natural, right? We want to work this out together.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point because if we're looking at that as well, they're like 35, right? Like now.
Yeah.
This is an age where you would be thinking about, the finances will come up in it. You're not like kids talking about fucking, I don't know, Beyblades or whatever.
Yeah. I'll be real. For me personally, there's no your finances. It's our finances all together in this for me personally. So yeah, that's what you mean. Your finances is like I don't think I've ever looked at my paycheck and thought, this is my money. What the heck am I talking about? It's my wife. As I said, till death do us part. It's a bit cheeky to now turn around and say, oh, but this is my money and you better keep your... So...
No, but you guys have you guys have your own disposable incomes, right? Like
we have our own disposable incomes, but
yeah.
I think I've mentioned this before, the way I do... Actually, I haven't mentioned this here before. The way we do our finances is I get paid, she gets paid. We put it into a pot and then we allocate it to things.
Yeah, it all just blurs together, right?
Yeah, like it's our finances, so it's like there's no your money, my money. And so that just in the context of this, there's no way for if my wife tomorrow was like, Simeon, hey, I've had £1 million in my bank account and I won it ages ago. Yeah, I'll be like, babe, what's going on? Yeah, like I wouldn't be impressed. Yeah, I'd be happy to be fair for £1 million, but I wouldn't be impressed. I'd be like, what's going on? Why didn't you tell me this before?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think they're both. Idiots doesn't seem like the right word. It's just what's going on, man.
They should have thought about this.
They probably should have discussed it. But to me, I'm thinking how much does it matter? Does it matter that she's deceived him, or does it matter that he didn't get any? And what's his take on that? Do you know what I mean? Because me personally, I've been together with my wife since 2009. I can't do math at the moment.
Wow.
15 years.
15 years, yeah, bang on.
Yeah. How old are you?
He looks good for his age, yeah.
That's
you look like 26, dude.
Thank you. I'll take that. But I've got 3 children. And
they're
Andre's living the
now.
dream, trust me.
lots of press ups, guys. Just remember that. But yeah, me and my wife, as long as the bills are paid, we have our own separate accounts. There's never a point where I'm like, well, how much money have you got? Because I haven't got a lot, so let's put our money together. It just works. Do you know what I mean? As long as the bills are paid, I consistently save every week. So when I'm spending, I'll just spend frivolously because I've already saved. Do you get what I'm saying? And she does the same. So there's never an issue with that. So if she was to come up against some money and she kept a hold of it, I know that it's more times going to go towards the children. So I don't necessarily ask her for it. Same way, if I got any money, she'd be like, oh, I need money to do something. I'd give her some. But like, I'd probably tell her about it, but she wouldn't be like, well, some of that's mine. Because it would just naturally happen if you got what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? So
I hear you.
For me, it's a little bit different. Like, he's probably thinking, well, you want all this money. How comes I didn't get any? We're together in it. You got what I mean? And that's probably...
Oh, he's definitely thinking that.
Yeah, but they're not married in it.
A house with it, and she's got a car and all that kind of stuff. Then he's nice in it.
Yeah. Like I'm in a similar sort of situation to Andre. Like, me and my wife we earn our own money. Money goes into somewhere where we can make sure everything's paid for, and then we each do whatever with our leftovers. Like, I would never say to my wife, you can't do this with your money. Like, and I would never expect her to say that to me, unless I was doing something fucking stupid, like buying a big I don't know. Anyway, the point is,
bonfires or something like that. Yeah.
But the point,
Yu-Gi-Oh card.
yeah. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, like if one of us came into like a big sum of money, like Andre said, I wouldn't feel entitled because I would feel like it would happen anyway. Like, say for example, I don't know, we need the kitchen doing or whatever, or we want to go on holiday or X, Y, Z, whatever. It would be like, we'll put a bit of this towards that and then do whatever with it. At the end of the day, it all depends on how you handle your finances with your partner or whoever it is. Like, I'm never going to tell anyone what to do with their money because it's not my money in it. But it just, how do you not talk about this?
Yeah,
that's what's in my head.
She's had money, he's got nothing. He didn't get no Nike Air Maxes. He's not happy.
It's fuming, in it. It's fuming.
One thing I can say for sure is that almost every relationship that I see on Reddit seems like, they just don't talk to each other.
Is there on Reddit in it?
Dude,
they're not the poster children for amazing relationships. But
so where are we land on this one, Tatsun? What are you saying?
talk to each other. Like, for fuck's sake, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
I need more context because it sounds like he's upset, and it sounds like I don't know how. Like, do they go out often? Does he pay everything? Like, I don't know his situation. Don't know where he works. I don't know where she works. Like, maybe like she has a house and she has a car, but maybe her job was like not the best, and he knows that. So he was like, you know what? I'll pay for every date or everything.
Yeah.
And even though he doesn't make that much either, like I need more context. But they for sure fucked up. They should have just because it just relieves so much stress from each other, knowing like, oh yeah, the money doesn't really matter. You know, it's like it's something that I'm actively busy with my girlfriend. Like, we try to find a house together, so we're both like actively. We know what we earn. We know what we have in our savings account.
Exactly,
you have to do that. But, like it makes the difference between having like not feeling bad if we're going out to eat anything. So like I can understand like him being kicked out of the house and like the money issues, and he can't really get anywhere else, and then like she just has a lot of money somewhere. I can understand why he's frustrated, but it's also very much his own fault for not working through this relationship as you probably should have.
Yeah, definitely much. I agree. Like, he didn't do the best job. He definitely didn't do the best job. But Dan, you have a list of questions that I am very interested to hear Tatsim's answers to. And I think that's going to be our last topic. You might have to modify them a bit, but
I have been thinking about this. So Tatsim, we've introduced a section on the podcast for the new season. It's essentially like just an A or B question. It's not quick fire. You can take as much time as you want to answer the question. The options are you can pick A, you can pick B, you can pick both, or you can pick neither. Whenever you're ready, we'll jump into it. Cool. So, this was the first question I had, but you answered it so quickly. I'm just going to ask it anyway. Pokemon or Lorcana?
Pokemon.
Yeah. As we were talking, so I don't even know why I put this on here. Do you prefer rubber playmats or cloth playmats?
Dude. So I'm exclusively playing. Do I have it here? Yeah, I have it right here. I've exclusively been playing on the most beautiful playmat ever. It is this cloth DMG playmat.
Oh, that is nice.
I love this playmat to death. It is just so good. I love rubber playmats. I love them so much, but it's just so much more of an hassle than fold, throw in bag. I think that nowadays I'm more like, I just want easier things to carry like my stuff with. Like, this is my Pokemon deck box. It's just this brick with all my 6 decks. So I take this, my binder, and my cloth playmat. The bag is broken, so I just throw it on top. That's it. That's all I take with me to locals, and that is just the best feeling ever.
I respect it.
So yeah, with like the rubber, it gets messy. You basically need a tube. It takes up space, and you have to put it in. You have to fold it again. I'm just lazy.
I hear that.
And I don't know. I don't have a big preference, but cloth is just easier. So cloth.
That's yeah, I can back that. I can back that. This is something that we can translate to any card game, so I suppose I'll ask it here. Do you prefer playing something that's rogue or playing something that's better?
I play something that I like. Sometimes it happens to be rogue. Sometimes it happens to be meta. I don't have a preference, really.
So it's not really about how it sits on a tier list. It's about how, like...
Yeah. There have been moments where for Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals, I played Rogue because I wanted to play Rogue. There have been moments where I just was like, okay, I'll just buy the best deck. And sometimes the best deck is what I like, or what I like becomes the best deck. So I really don't... It used to be a lot of Rogue, but nowadays I like meta decks are just fine.
Yeah. Do you prefer creating content for Twitch or YouTube?
Twitch. I loved Twitch so much. YouTube is more work, I think. I like putting in the work. I like being creative. I like making videos. But being online with chat is that is, I think, what I miss most from being
just
a
a whole
retired
different
content
vibe,
creator.
right?
It's just better. The people that I met there, that are my lifelong friends now, like so many people from my locals came here, traveled like hours to come to our locals, and they kept staying around, and they are like in our friend group now because of Twitch chat, and that just would not have happened if it was YouTube. So I'm gonna go with Twitch chat with the friends.
That's a wholesome answer. I can back it, Tatsu. Card games or console games? We're going to include PC and console games as well.
Card games live.
Okay. I don't know why I thought
big gamer, but
yeah,
card games.
Sidebar: do you play Elden Ring?
What?
Do you play Elden Ring?
I've played it. I've 100%ed it, and then I left.
Okay, good. I brought up last week, and then these guys, they made me feel like I was weird for talking about Elden Ring.
No, dude, that game's so fucking sick. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think on this month when the DLC drops, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. But yeah, sorry.
Is it coming out finally?
It's supposed to be coming out on the 25th of this month. We'll see. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
that's all good, bro. We've got a few more left. Do you prefer bigger scale events or smaller scale events?
I mean, on the small scale events, you're with friends, but on the big scale events, you're with friends as well. And I've definitely grown to appreciate the bigger events more. I'm performing better at bigger events, so yeah, bigger events for now, for sure, is going to be my preference. I finally know how to tackle those after 10 years of playing. I finally know how to handle my big events. So I'm going to say big events, yeah.
That's fair. I think that's an answer I'll probably pick as well. So this is a little bit more of a Yu-Gi-Oh question. Do you prefer retro formats like Edison or Go, or do you prefer the more common, not more common, what's the word I'm looking for? More up-to-date formats like TOS or COVID format or anything like that? So I guess like old Yu-Gi-Oh or new Yu-Gi-Oh.
Is it like, do I like time wizard format, it's called, I think?
Yeah.
Or
let's change the question to that. So time wizard formats or current format if you were still playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm going to say I have a strong dislike against any format that isn't standard. So for me, It's always just now. Yeah, I hate nostalgia so much. Dude, people behaving like GOAT is fun, dude. They're crazy.
It's horrid, isn't it? I can't stand it.
I love GOAT, but reasoning, Monster Gates, Dimension Fusion, yeah, both nice, dude. And I do think it's cool that we are finding like new strategies in older cards, but like modern is just the best, in my opinion.
I like how you slipped in COVID format there, Dan.
Yeah, I had COVID as well. I'm like,
I don't know. Is he created that himself because I had Emancipator, or I don't know.
I love
I've seen like a few people talking about it. I was just trying to think of a format that could have potentially.
I want this giant card in COVID format.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But for the other side of the question, older Yu-Gi-Oh better than now Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know what now Yu-Gi-Oh does anyway, so
Fair enough.
too much text. I'm such a boomer, dude. No. Like the toss was just so good.
Toss was elite.
It was just so good.
Elite. And the final question: Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon?
Ooh.
Okay, before I answer, I am biased because I cannot play the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG.
But let's talk about like amongst friends, like the franchises as a whole.
I would say if I have the option right now to play a game, then I would always pick Pokemon. It is better balanced, it is cheaper, better pricing, the game is fun. There's only 3 floodgates opposed to like 2,000. But for the whole picture, I would drop anything to get back with the friends that I can't play with anymore. But that would be the sole reason for Yu-Gi-Oh! We've avoided the entire podcast, me shit-talking Yu-Gi-Oh!, but here we go.
You know what? We're past the hour mark anyway. Yeah, let's have it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the sickest Stockholm syndrome ever. It's just a fact.
You know what? Before we before guys, that's the end of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. We are now moving into the post show. Okay, this is the post show now. Yeah, so I don't know, I might cut it and re-upload or whatever, but yeah, post show. Sorry, Tatsu.